Welcome to the Inside Out Money Podcast.
Can't even recognize this place. Too many pieces of our past mistakes.
Hi, I'm Maggie, and I believe real change starts from the inside out. So let's work together to improve our money and our lives from the inside out. We will explore all things money and our relationship with it. Join me each week with a rotating set of co-hosts, friends, and interviews. Let's jump in.
It's time, we going round and round and round and round.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
y'all.
friends.
Hi.
We got the whole crew here.
Yeah,
All five of us. It's been a minute since we had all five of us together.
it has.
Yeah.
I like it. I like seeing all your faces at the same time. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Greg came back on for the, came out of retirement. For
Welcome back, Greg.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's good to be here.
I didn't present this one as optional for him. I was like, well, you're the CFO. You got to join.
This is like our board meeting.
Yeah. It's like we do these twice a year, required.
I like it.
So, yeah, this is one of our very popular episodes because people really like to hear what other people spent their money on.
Oh my gosh, I love knowing what other people spend their
Yeah.
money on.
I don't. Like, to me, it's like when someone's like, can I tell you about my dream? I'm like, can you do it in less than 30 seconds? That's kind of how I feel about that. But I'm here, y'all.
You're not just nosy about what your neighbors and what your friends are spending on
I
their
mean,
vacations and I don't know.
yes, like I'm coming around to the concept of we should be talking about it if there are ways to help save money and things like that, like the whole concept of this group. But otherwise, I think I'm still in that semi-prudish group of,
We don't
That
talk
feels
about
private.
money.
yeah.
I just think it's so interesting, like from a, not a comparative standpoint in a like good or bad, but just out of curiosity to like, you look at someone's life from afar and you have no idea what's happening. And so I think it's really fascinating when people like open up the books and even with coaching clients, when they'll share like what they're making and what they're saving and what they're spending money on, I'm always like, oh, this is so interesting to see like what other people are doing in life, you know?
Yeah, I'm just nosy.
I'm gonna go with I'm curious, but could be nosy too.
That's why I share so much of my own information online. I'm like, I want other people to tell me what
More.
they're doing too.
Yeah, everything.
Am I normal? I don't know.
I think that's a pitch for people to DM Liz, like their deep, dark money secrets.
Please do. I would love that.
That should be an episode. Deep Dark Money
gosh.
Secrets.
Maybe we do
Ooh.
that as like just a topic. Like we get listeners send in, deep, dark money secrets, and then Liz, you can comment on them.
And then we can roast people. Just kidding. We wouldn't roast you. We'd be like, that's great. That's amazing. You're doing awesome.
Good for you.
We love you.
Maggie, we haven't done a listener Q&A in a while. We should put that on the schedule for...
It's kind of is. I was actually almost did a case study with you recently, Andrew.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. What we did, then we did something else. I can't remember
Okay.
what. Humility. Okay.
Is this a podcast? Wait, are we recording this? Are we going to post this
Yeah.
on the internet?
Welcome. Whether we want to call it nosy or curious or indifferent, as Erica, or I don't even know if Erica's indifferent. I think you just don't care. But either way, we're here and we've got 4 different families' expenses we're going to share. So we're not going to get into how or why we track expenses. We all think it's super important. We're using Monarch. That's the quick version. You can go listen to some old episodes where we talk about why we track expenses and why we think it's so important. But let's just jump in. Should we start with you, Andrew?
We can definitely start with me. For us, our first half spending was $35,400, and this
So
one asked.
low.
I want to like sing that song. What is it like? How low can you
Low,
go?
low. Oh, I was going a different direction. I was going apple bottom jeans.
One asterisk here is that it excludes all business expenses, and I think everyone else here is doing that as well. And my business expenses now are, because I'm full-time coaching and doing bike fits, my bikes and racing expenses are all excluded from this now because they're in the business.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
My business
Thank you.
expenses are also excluded because I don't have a business. But yes.
Yeah.
Now, Andrew,
done.
but you should share you're married and you have 2 children.
Yep. Married, 2 kids. My daughter's 11. My son is 8. And we...
You're not married 2 kids. You're married and you
and have 2 kids.
Comma. 2 kids.
Right.
Glad you clarified. There could really
Just
have
checking.
been some.
Don't want anyone
you
to
know,
get upset with us.
Oh no, I don't want
All
to
right,
go
so
viral for the wrong reasons.
Our top categories are similar in nature. I think these have been fairly consistent for the past couple of years. Groceries, number 1 by far, $6,300 on groceries. We spend about $1,000 a month on groceries. I eat a massive amount of food because of all the cycling that I do. So I count as like 2 or 3 people, I think, sometimes.
How
on
many
the grocery
calories
side.
do you eat a day, Andrew? You've told me, but tell me again.
It's like 7,000 to 8,000 depending on the day. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
But it's
a-
really not
it's
fun
a
though,
lot.
because you just eat a lot of like lentils.
I just had it's a massive bowl of rice, beans, avocado,
tofu. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and tofu.
Ooh, that
yeah.
does that sounds delicious.
Yes. I do
If
these
I
big
had to eat
salad
8,000
bowls.
calories a day, it would be like a lot of nachos.
I would, yeah. If someone was like, "I'm gonna need you for health reasons to hit a 7,000 to 8,000," I would be like, "Okay, I can do this."
I would be at Brewster's daily.
Yeah.
That's an ice cream place.
Yeah, milkshakes, pizza. I would not
Yeah.
be eating bowls of rice and beans, but that's why you're a champion cyclist, and I am not.
And you're walking on your underdesk treadmill at the moment.
Exactly. I don't need to eat 8,000 calories to fuel my walking pad athleticism.
And I eat like 6 or 7 meals a day too, right? Like you can't just get that many calories in one sitting, right? So just a lot of constant eating.
I mean, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew eats a lot.
Eat a
of
lot,
groceries.
right? All right. So next is home insurance. So our insurance hits in the first half of the year, $3,700 on that, which is actually down from $5,000 last year. So we switched from State Farm to Allstate. This is a plug to shop your insurance, not every year, but every couple years, because things can change. And so that was a decent amount of savings we had there on swapping insurance. And then third category is child activities, $3,200. So this is primarily my kids' swim team. Both of them are very competitive swimmers year round, and so these go to their coaches in the swim program that they're a part of. And then category 4 on the list was travel and vacation, $2,500. We went to Florida for spring break. We rented an Airbnb, and so that was about $2,000 of the $2,500 for travel and vacation. And then number 5 on the list is small and is going to grow to easily be our biggest expense, is health insurance. So since I left Carter's, June, we had our first COBRA payment of $2,000, which is the one downside I have found to leaving corporate America so far. Having to pay, my insurance while I was at Carter's was about $700 every paycheck. So call it $1,400 a month I was paying, and now it's just I'm covering the full portion, so it's really expensive. And so now we'll have $12,000 in the second half for all the COBRA payments for the rest of this year, and then next year I have the joy of it being $24,000, which is just mind blowing, right? When you look at our budget, and the $24,000 will be, it'll be close to 30%. When you throw in home insurance, auto insurance, all of our insurances, it's going to be like more than a third of our entire spending will just be on insurance.
Do you think you're going to stay on COBRA next year versus shopping for another plan?
Yeah, we will, because our income was high this year because I was working through the first half, most of the first half of this year. And then next year I get a DCP payment, which will keep my income high for next year as well. And then, so I expect to be on Cobra for the maximum 18 months, and which will take me through November of next year. And so then I'll start shopping the marketplace. But even when I looked at the marketplace, there was very little difference in the savings for what we were in Georgia. The options we had available were right around what I'm paying for Cobra. So I decided I'm going to stick with Cobra.
Yeah, and it's a lot of change too, because typically when you move from whatever you're on at your employer to some of the ACA plans, it tends to involve changing some doctors, because there are a good bit of, there's plenty of doctors that take the ACA plans, but there's plenty that don't also. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate that insurance costs that much, right?
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to just go out on your own and be an entrepreneur, and it's a big tax to have to pay.
Yep. So those are the big five. I'd say most of the other categories kind of dwarf in comparison to those big five, but I'll just call out a couple of comments on some other ones. Clothing was a little bit higher in the first half. I ended up buying I needed some winter clothes. I bought a bunch of used Patagonia stuff on Poshmark and Mercari, which was first time I've ever done that. I kind of committed to, I want to buy used clothing and I want to buy high quality used clothing. So I bought Patagonia, and that was great. And so my goal is to not buy any new clothes. And when I was actually in the clothing industry, that was maybe a little bit hard for me to say. Now I'm no longer longer in the clothing industry.
Well, you did work for a baby clothing company.
Yeah,
so it's not like you were buying
it's a little different. But I mean, I will still say I have seen I've watched all the documentaries on the clothing industry and fast fashion, and unfortunately, Carter's was a fast fashion baby clothing company, right? And there's a lot of challenging things environmentally from the fast fashion industry, and so my goal is to just buy high quality clothing that can last. And so I've been really happy with the Patagonia garments that I've had, and so it definitely fits in with my MO of not worried about the fashion. I want function over fashion.
Patagonia is pretty fashionable, though.
Not the pieces I'm buying. Like I'm buying your standard like gray, black fleece, gray shorts. My standard wardrobe is a gray T-shirt or a gray polo, right? So I'm not buying any of the cool patterns that the cool kids wear.
I think their stuff looks nice, though. I'm with you on the secondhand shopping thing. I have been buying clothes on Poshmark, and it really is nice if you know the brand that you like if you know Patagonia
and the sizing and all that,
well,
right?
And
yeah,
I know, right. Patagonia actually does not fit my body well. They have more of a, I think it's called shrink it and pink it in terms of how they make women's clothing. But
Their stuff is very oddly fit. I agree with you, Liz.
I think I have the body of a boy because it fits me great.
I would not agree with that saying. I think you have a really lovely figure, very feminine figure. But I do think for people who have more generous chests and hips, Patagonia is a bit. But there's other stuff I bought some Free People. Actually, do you know what Poshmark was so good for? I had this Free People sweater that I'd had for 10 years, and it shrunk in the dryer, and I was able to find a replacement. Obviously, they don't make it anymore, but someone still had one, and they sold it to me, and I was so happy.
I didn't know Free People had been around for 10 years. I thought it was a new company, since it's so
it's just that the
trending right now with all the teens.
It's having a moment with teenagers, which is why you're aware.
Which is weird, because it was always definitely not geared toward teens. That was not the market 10
Free
plus
People
years ago.
movement is what's mostly geared towards teens right now, which is their athletic brand.
Oh, that makes me feel cool, actually.
I'm curious, for those of you who have bought stuff on Poshmark and Mercari, has the experience been good? And any general, other than, I think a great tip is what you said of when you know your brand and size, it's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a couple interesting experiences. One was I got a counterfeit piece of Patagonia.
Oh, how'd you know it was counterfeit?
I got it
wrong?
No, I got it, and something looked off on it, on the logo, on the tag. It was a very, very good counterfeit. And I looked at the tag and I said, that looks a little bit off. And what was so interesting about it was I took the piece into the Patagonia store, and they actually pulled up this reference card, and they explained to me that they sew in a very special thread that you can hold under a black light on their authentic labels. And then they gave me then they have 2 employees at Patagonia that they gave me their email addresses of who are like research all of the fakes and the fraud stuff. If I wanted to follow up with them. But yeah, so now there's I forget where it is. It's like in one part of the letter, and the last thread they sew in this special reflective thread that shows up with a black light that you can check on it. And sure enough, the person was selling it as new. They said they bought it at an outlet, so it wasn't like I was selling it from a bulk. Like it was somebody else who'd bought a counterfeit that was reselling it. But yeah, they thought it was new. They didn't realize it was counterfeit. Now, whether they probably, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, right? The outlet was probably selling it. It was not a Patagonia outlet. It was like an outdoor store outlet.
But did they give you your money back?
Yes. Mercari took care of me completely. So I submitted the claim to Mercari. I said, hey, this is a counterfeit piece. And they said, sent me a shipping label and said, ship it back, and we refunded your money. So great experience overall working with them. And so... yeah, so overall, I was impressed with the process of how they handled it, and it was good.
Well, I purchased like 1 or 2 things on Poshmark before. I've never used Mercari, but I've sold thousands of, like almost $3,000 worth of clothes on Poshmark, and it's really good for selling stuff too. Mm-hmm. So even that like Free People thing that shrunk, if it doesn't fit you anymore, you can like list the actual measurements and like, just be upfront about it. But I've had very good success selling it, which is great too.
All right. So the last one I'll call out is the one that you guys are all most interested in usually, which is the coffee budget. It was $21.
Was it $1?
It was $21.71 was the coffee budget. Was the coffee spend in the first half? Yes. So Crystal was really going crazy in the first half.
Twice.
I went to Starbucks today with one other person, and the bill was $21.
Yeah. And then our medical was $106, which was really, really cheap. We're very fortunate about that. Oh, dentist. I didn't call that one out. $500. So that was the down payment on the orthodontics for my daughter. And so that's going to be a couple $1,000s in the second half that will hit. Good old braces. Both my kids are going to need braces. So yay for me. Oh, one thing I have not called out is our phone bill. Our phone bill actually went up, and we took a big step here. We splurged and we upgraded the Mint Mobile plan from the 5 gig a month to the 15 gig a month. I know, whoa. Crazy. An extra $5 a month. Crystal was going nuts with her data running out at like 23 days. So yeah, I splurged, and yeah.
I would think as you're doing more like business stuff.
Yeah,
too,
that's what's happening is because I'm not in the office 100% of the time now. Yeah. I'm not on Wi-Fi always, and so yeah.
Yeah, and if you're doing like coaching stuff, it could be like higher.
All right, so yeah, I think that's I think overall it was a pretty standard 6 months for us. Thankfully, there was not another giant sinkhole in our backyard again. We did not need new pipes or a new deck, so it was a good 6 months.
I mean, pretty standard with spending, but you also left your corporate career and started a business, so that non-standard from a
very non-standard from a life perspective, and certainly, I raced yesterday and. Previously, I would have raced on Sunday afternoon. I would have finished around 5 o'clock, and I would have driven 4 hours home to get home at 9 o'clock and to be at work today. And I stayed an extra night in Nashville, and I had a lazy morning. I got up late, and I drove home, and it was fabulous. So, yeah.
Does it just feel like it just feels better too? Like, and you're not stressed about.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, the stress is like out the window. I mean, my stress is now like, can I hit my wattage targets on my bike that I
Right.
need to hit, right? Not whether my TPS reports are going to be ready on Monday afternoon or not, right?
I was in Buckhead this afternoon and I saw the Carter's building and I took a picture to send you. And then I
Oh,
forgot
thank
to
you.
Send it, so I can tell you about it now.
Yeah, it's been quite the change. It's been great. The business is going well. I have a lot of cycling fit appointments this week and doing custom footbeds, and a lot of got a couple more interests from coaching clients from over the weekend. So yeah, it's going well so far. The experiment.
Well, congrats. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow, well
awesome.
done. One day you'll explain to me what a footbed is.
Actually, I feel like you would love a
You
custom
actually, Liz, you know exactly what they are. They're orthotics for cycling.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do love a custom.
Yes,
have a
do
I
love
know.
a
Yeah,
footbed.
you
I
love
own
them.
footbeds.
Yes. So the next time you come to Atlanta, you can come into my store and I will make you a set of custom footbeds for your shoes.
Are you serious?
Yes, that's what I do now.
Liz has never looked so excited.
That's amazing. I really do. I love my custom orthotics.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, and all that while
exciting.
spending only $35,000. Congratulations.
Yeah, impressive.
Thank you.
What did you have to cut to pay for the phone upgrade? You really
Amazon Prime is still off. I had a moment of weakness last week where I almost turned it back on. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm staying strong and I'm being anti-Prime. And
You turned
What?
it back on. I thought Crystal like demanded it be.
yeah, she did, and then I turned it back off again.
Playing with fire,
Man, that's
Andrew.
some real landlord behavior.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, yeah,
I actually think
Works in many
Andrew would
ways.
really like the landlord, Erica.
dude, the landlord and I would be best friends. I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they would hang out.
He would love talking about orthotic footbeds. Meanwhile, I'd be like,
Yeah.
about
Hey.
as enthralled as I am for
Erica
this.
and I would be at the
Maggie,
kids'
I have a show idea. I think we should get the landlord on as a guest, and me and the landlord and you, we do an episode together.
Yeah.
The landlord opened the door, so our dog, that's Daryl. Daryl, say hi.
Daryl, we gotta
I
hire
always
like
feel
we're
like we
getting
should
Daryl
clarify
on.
that it's not really Erica's like actual.
The landlord is the landlord is what
It's a
Erica
nickname.
affectionately calls her husband.
Yeah.
But he knows you call him the landlord, right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
It's sort of like a role playing thing you guys have going on.
I mean, in terms of like, landlord and tenant, yes.
Okay,
I
like
mean,
at night-
I'll give you an example of why he's like really personifying and embodying his landlord role. There is a Post-it note on our dryer that says "No usage between 5 and 9 p.m.
I
on
love
weeknights."
Oh my
Love it.
goodness!
Oh, because
That is epic.
Time of use pricing for electricity, or because of
Yes.
the noise. Okay.
Time of use.
Yeah. I totally used to do that with Crystal, and when we had the electric car, and the electricity rate was 5x. There it is, 5x higher between.
Greg
12
just
and
made me this chart.
Yeah.
I requested it. I said, "Tell me the price per kilowatt
Yeah.
at different times a day," because it's like 30
Well,
times as
yes.
high. At different
Yeah,
times
I
a
was
day.
telling Maggie, I was like, we got to cut down. And she goes, well, if I only knew when it was. And I was like, okay, let me just print this for you so we can post it where it's visible.
He's told me like 10 times. I just forget.
Do you
But we
hang
are trying to
that
do
next the
some
thermostat?
adjusting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to ours. But right now, we're going to move.
Yeah.
Not quite on purpose, but we're going to go from smallest to largest, which means, Liz, you are next.
I'm not the largest this time.
Yeah, no, we're moving from
Congratulations.
smallest to largest. Oh, yeah, you're the
Oh,
second.
oh, oh!
Yes,
I thought
right.
you were
Moving
going
up.
from small
No,
to-
Okay.
we're working our way
No,
up. You're
working our
next.
way up.
Got it.
Yeah.
Next smallest, Liz.
I was like, Maggie, this is like the one time I didn't have
You-
that.
I'm impressed. I don't know what is happening over there,
Yeah.
but you have like dramatically. I'm a little worried.
I'm taking credit for some influence here.
Allow me to share
Okay, you tell us.
with great fanfare, and I am proud to announce that I think we had our lowest spending across 6 months, that in a couple of years at least. So our total spending, let me give you context. Typically, I would say we spend on average like 120-ish a year, something like that. Andrew's like, yep, I remember.
Yep.
Andrew
Yeah, you
knows
and Maggie
better
were
than
always
me.
around 120.
The data supports that, yes.
Which would mean that we spend about like 50 or 60, usually I would say on average in 6 months. And then usually it's a little lumpy, right? One half is higher than the other. And so this first half of 2025, I had to look down at what year it was on the corner of my computer. First half of 2025, we only spent $35,000 $993.95, which means I only spent like $500 more than Andrew.
Yeah. Impressive. Very impressive. Round of applause.
I was like looking around, I was like, what can I go return to bring my spending down? So my only opportunity to beat Andrew ever. All right. I have a few caveats with this. One, so when we do the spending recaps on Inside Out Money, we exclude mortgage cost, partially because Maggie and Greg and Andrew and Crystal have paid off their mortgages, so they don't have mortgages. I have not paid off my mortgage. And in fact, at the moment, I am paying for 2 places to live because we are sort of conducting an experiment where we moved out of our house into a much smaller home and are trying to see if we like that. But to make it easier to compare apples to apples, we just don't include housing costs. Because also when you're listening and trying to compare, just kind of not compare, but just for context, everyone's housing costs are different across the country. So that does not include a place to live. And Andrew does include a place to live. So anyways, okay, so we are spending a lot of money because we're doing this experiment, but the $35,993.95 only includes our day-to-day living expenses, which I will regale you with right now.
I've never been regaled with anyone's expenses before. I like that.
I get ready. No, they're actually very boring because we didn't actually spend
ready to be regaled.
So our highest spending category was food. Coming in for 2 people at $7,835, which comes to about $1,300 a month. And that's about average for us. Sometimes it's a little bit higher. Rarely it'll be a little bit lower, but I take joy in throwing things in the grocery cart. And we also did maybe a month of delivered meals like Factor or Cook Unity, where they just deliver ready-made meals in a cooler to your house, which I really love, honestly.
I was going to ask you how you liked it.
They're so good. And it's so nice. It's not like Blue Apron or Home Chef,
where you have to
where
cook
they
it,
send
right?
you the ingredients.
Yeah.
It's just you just open it and then you eat it. And it's so good. Anyways, I did a breakdown just because I think food spending, again, I get nosy about people's spending, and I think food spending is the most interesting. So our averages for the first half of the year, $822 a month on groceries. That includes, I put those pre-made meals into groceries. Mm-hmm. $119 a month on takeout on average, $265 a month on restaurants, $30 a month on alcohol, and $70 a month on coffee shops, which is rarely getting coffee in the morning. It's usually a weekend coffee and a pastry and a sit down and do the crossword puzzle kind of situation. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I whenever I post my food spending online, I feel like I get all manners of opinions. That seems really high. That seems really low. That seems normal. Andrew, this probably seems scandalous to you, but
no, I was going to ask you, the restaurant budget or the restaurant spend, is that higher or lower than you typically are, or average?
I think it's about average.
Okay.
And it goes up. It's really lumpy too. Even I was looking at the first quarter, coffee shop spending was only $30, and then it was much higher in Q2.
I just wanted to know if you found a good coffee shop, because I know you have one at your other residence, yes. And there's a great place. And so I assumed, your coffee spending might go down when you weren't near that, but perhaps you found, an adequate stand-in.
Well, that's a good question, because one of the reasons we wanted to move out of our neighborhood, a lot of people, we kind of in my opinion, overbought in early pandemic days. We went from living in a small home in an extremely walkable neighborhood to living in a large home in a medium walkable neighborhood. So we had a coffee shop right by our larger home. It was also the only coffee shop within a 10-minute walk. So it was our favorite, both because it was delightful and also because of where it was. Now the problem is that there's probably, I don't know, I can think of 5 off the top of my head within a 10-minute walk. So pros and cons.
Yeah,
not good
a lot
for saving
more
money, but
accessible and tempting, I'm sure.
Yeah. And that was really one of the reasons we wanted to move is we wanted to be a little bit more in the mix. We wanted to feel like there were just multiple options right out the front door. And so I'm happy about that. Like I love walking out and saying, oh, should I go here or should I go there? What kind of coffee shop ambiance do I want today? That feels very luxurious to me.
I think it's interesting that your food spending, I used to think yours seemed really high to me, but it's really close to what ours is actually higher now. But I don't feel like any different in terms of what I'm consuming lately. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, prices for food have definitely gone up so much.
Yeah. Which almost makes me think you're consuming like less. I don't mean consuming, but you know what I mean? Like you're kind of inflation wise, like if you're about flat, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you remember, last year was a year of chaos and trauma and stress.
Yes. You were eating out a lot. Yeah, I remember that. You're right.
And so we did like a lot more takeout. And even when I was going to the grocery store, I wasn't buying any ingredients. I was like filling the cart with pre-made sandwiches, pre-made salads, pre-made smoothies. Just if you could open the package and eat it, that's all we were buying for a good long stretch there. So maybe that's a difference.
Well, cool. But that's cool. Food, number one expense category.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you include everything, it's like mortgage and then investing and then food. But that's still a pretty. I feel happy about that stack rank of priorities, right? Okay, let's see a couple others. So travel, $6,971, which averages to about $1,100 a month. That seemed really high to me. We've only really done 2 trips this year. We did a couple weeks, a little bit of a tour through the Southeast. We went and stayed with Maggie and Greg, which was awesome, and visited some family and some other friends in the area. And then we did an extra long weekend, 5 days maybe, in New York City. But when I dug down into it, about $2,000 out of that, almost $7,000 was credit card fees. So annual fees attached to rewards cards where I keep them. Either they're new because we signed up this year, or we keep them because the benefits outweigh. That's, about $2,000. And of course, that means that our costs for hotels and plane tickets and those kinds of things are lower because it's offset by the benefits of those credit cards. And yeah. All right, medical, this is kind of exciting. It's only about $3,000 for us so far this year, which compared to the last couple of years, I'm feeling really happy about that. It's about $500 a month for all of the various aches and pains and medications and things that keep us going over here. Utilities, almost $3,000, $2,889. That's about $481 a month. I put everything into utilities like gas, electric, water, trash, internet, streaming. And then, all those random Apple charge, like anytime you use your Apple ID to pay for stuff, to buy an app or something, I'm like, that's none of my business. That just goes in utilities. I don't know what it is. I actually just discovered yesterday, I'm embarrassed. This is the wrong group of people to tell this to, but I realized that I was paying for HBO and I didn't even realize it because it was signed up through my Apple.
And there's so many good things you could be watching on HBO too. So
that's the worst part is you're paying for it and not using it.
I usually rotate our stream. So we had Netflix because we were watching something on Netflix, and I was actually waiting to re-sign up for HBO. I thought we'd canceled it because I'm waiting for and just like that for all the episodes to come out so I can watch them all at once because they're dropping them every week because they're trying to get you to subscribe for 3 months. And I'm like, you're not going to get me. I'm only going to subscribe for 1 month and I'm going to watch them all at the same time. But joke was on me because I messed up.
My kids are so upset right now because I let the Peacock subscription lapse, and that's where Harry Potter's on Peacock. And so my kids keep coming to me and be like, Daddy, can we get Peacock? I'm like, no, we're not getting Peacock.
It's summertime. Give the kids Peacock.
No.
Yeah.
I'll give them my login.
I'm going to try to get in touch with your kids and give them my login too.
Our kids want Peacock because they want to watch Love Island. At first I was like, probably too young for Love Island.
Feels like a better use case that they want it for Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hold on to those
I feel good saying no to I want to watch Love Island.
I don't even know what Love Island is.
You don't want to know, Andrew.
Yeah. It's about love on an island and just.
I'm not sure I'd call it love.
Well,
Greg.
right.
They should really call it Lust Island.
Yeah, lust. That's a very lust and trying to gain influence and followers.
Influencer Island. Yeah. Okay, so the I'm not sure how we segue that back to utilities, but the utilities are the ones when you say you're like super curious to compare to other people, that's one I always like to compare because I'm like, oh, what's your power bill? What's your like real quick, could everybody say what their average summer power bill is?
That's a question for the landlord.
I mean, but ours is like our power bill in the summertime is like $120, and then our gas bill in the winter is like $120.
That
Still
seems really low.
Yeah.
Are you running the air conditioning during the summer?
No, he's wearing that new Patagonia jacket. That's why he got it, so he doesn't have to turn on the heat.
Yeah, we got the AC on. I mean,
that's like ours is like $300 lately. It used to be in the hundreds like years ago.
Are you on the same? Do you have the same? I know you both live in the same area,
Well,
but
no,
do you
we
have
have
different
a-
utility providers?
yeah, we're on different. I'm on Cobb EMC. Maggie, you're on Georgia Power probably.
Yeah, we're on Georgia Power, but we're also on a variable rate plan
Yeah.
because we want the overnight cheap charging. And so Andrew could be on a fixed plan.
Yeah, I think it's called time of use as opposed to variable.
Yeah, I'm on a fixed plan. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Our power cost is the same.
Andrew, you got to get on this time of. Well, maybe they don't.
No.
know.
No, maybe you don't.
You don't, because if you have an electric car, we were on the time of use when we had the electric car, but now we don't have the electric car. It doesn't make sense for us to be on it.
And we've got 3 electric cars now that are charging on it. So I think it's still the better plan for us. We just need to get better about use of energy during those super peak hours.
But we've done a lot of research into it, and there's not a lot more we can do. We already keep it almost close to 80 degrees.
Well, we just started that, I think.
No, I mean, like, even with that, we keep the thermostat at 78 degrees.
Yeah, our June power
And we
bill
have-
was $137.
What's your normal temperature that you keep? your
76.
thermostat? Okay.
What's your kilowatt rate? Do you have it up?
Well, even your rate and your usage would be the
Yeah,
interesting piece.
I'd be curious.
Hey, Maggie, I'm going to send you my power bill.
Oh, please send me
Oh,
your
yeah.
power
cannot
bill.
stress
Okay.
enough how bored I am right now.
Erica found out, like,
This is like the inception of hell for me. It's talking
let's
about
do it.
finances,
Okay.
talking about
This is the
kilowatt
sidebar.
hours, talking
Feedback
about power
with-
bills. Like, I'll just go get the landlord right now, and he would
Erica.
be.
Erica's
in
getting all
a
charged
pig
up
in
here.
shit.
Jeez, good fun, Greg.
I'm like reading like baseball headlines in the background over here.
Erica, I just want you to know we've heard your feedback and we're going to move on.
Also, I just want to say our June power bill was $113, and we're getting new insulation this week.
Oh.
Do you have air conditioning though?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember because wasn't there a time when you didn't?
We didn't have it. Also, our weather's so all over the place. Like, we had a 96-degree day last week, and today it was 70. So,
Oh yeah.
So you don't run it
right.
When
all
it's,
day,
yeah.
every day in the summer.
And even if I
necessarily.
tried to run it more, the landlord
Landlord
would like
wouldn't let you.
tinker. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I know we're moving on, but Andrew, I mean, you could even optimize further. Like, I feel like this is right up your alley. What if you scheduled the dishwasher to run overnight, or you
I've been
put your
doing
clothes
that,
in the
Liz.
dryer in the morning? Like, I'm just surprised that this isn't something you don't have an appetite for. So
I'm slacking off in my older age here.
Yeah. now
Andrew,
that
I will
you're-
connect you with the landlord on this, because not only does this tie in with his landlording abilities, but like our renewable energy, just, enthusiasm in general. Yeah, he could talk to you all about load and peak load and all those things, and you guys can really bro out.
Cool.
yeah, it's also better for the environment. I mean, that's the thing
Yeah.
about it's also better for the
Yes.
environment to shift your usage away from those peak times, so
Yep.
that the grid can use cleaner sources. Anyways,
Well, you're going to prevent rolling brownouts and blackouts if you do it at off-peak hours.
That's what I was literally just about to say about the rolling brownouts.
Exactly. I knew that's where you're going.
and that's when when the load is the highest, that's when they have to pull the dirtiest, most expensive power sources
Exactly.
online. So do it, run your dryer in the morning for America and the world.
And Georgia's not getting any sort of clean energy incentives, so
Anyways, so speaking of being more environmentally friendly,
Speaking of brownouts, you're talking about utilities, Liz.
yes, one of the things driving up my electric bill is I spent $2,000 on a new e-bike which was blessed by all. This is real. Like, not for the podcast, but like I was just living my real life. And I sent a text to the co-host group chat, which is called Inside Out with a little microphone emoji. And I said, should I buy this electric bike? And Maggie immediately was like, buy it.
Definitely, for sure. I didn't even want additional information. I just said you should for sure buy it.
And Andrew looked at the specs and said they looked like pretty good specs. And so I felt like I had the support of the group to buy an electric bike. So that was my next, after utilities, the thing I spent the next most money on was a bike. It was a $2,000 e-bike. And her name is Veronica, and I love her.
Does she have like a middle name or a last name?
No, she says, she's Veronica the Santa Monica because that's the style of the bike. Like
It's called Santa Monica.
What is that called? Like the
model?
The model. Yes, thank you. The model of the bike
Very
is
cute.
Santa Monica. So she's Veronica the Santa Monica. She has a horn, and she has built-in lights and brake lights. And
I'm just imagining Pee-wee's bike from Pee-wee's Big Adventure the way you're describing this. No one.
and colored streamers.
I know, I totally could picture it. Yeah.
It did come with a very cool bag, though. It like folds out to panniers. It's amazing. Best purchase probably the first half of the year. And which is kind of fun because I actually spent more on bikes than I did on driving. I spent $2,010 on driving in the first half of the year.
Love it. Nice job.
Yeah, right. It always, I think I say this in every recap, but it just is so wild to me that doesn't include, like, we didn't have any repairs. We don't have a car payment. I don't pay for gas. That is just, the bulk of it is insurance, registration, parking. Anyways, so that includes insurance, registration, parking, tolls, and like every once in a while we have to charge outside the house. And I just can't believe it's still $2,000 for 6 months. That's $4,000 a year just to like operate a car in the world. That's so expensive to me. So anyways, next couple things, house cleaners, it's $220 each time. They come every 2 weeks. Electronics, $1,263. One used phone. We were talking about used clothing. Used electronics are also up there for me in terms of saving money and sustainability. So my partner got a phone off of Back Market, and then
What's Back Market?
It's just a place you buy used electronics.
Okay.
I really like it. We've used it a lot also.
It's like Poshmark
Cool.
for phones.
We've
Nice.
sold stuff. We'll sell back like our kids' old phones or our old phones.
For burner phones.
For my secret spy life. I bet you could, yeah. And I bought some replacement AirPods. Oh, I bought a Dyson Airwrap. Maybe that's my favorite purchase of the first half of the year. I put that in electronics. It's a very fancy hairdryer.
If you had texted the group about that, like that's why I absconded from the bike comments. But if you had put that, I would be like, yes, get it. And
Okay.
you would have had my full support for that.
I'll know next time.
She
Yes.
brought it to Atlanta with her, and I had the pleasure of getting a blowout with it. Is that what you call it? A blowout?
Yeah.
And she did Kate's hair with it too. And then Kate was like, "Can we get a Dyson?" And I was like, "No, we can't. Sorry."
You air dry, Kate.
That's amazing. I was just at Camp Fi, and Steven was, I just made some comment. I was like, I'm going to dry my hair before I go to bed or something. And Steven was like, the retreat center has blow dryers. And I was like, I brought my Dyson. Like, I'm not drying my hair with some
Like 50 megawatt.
Exactly. That you have to ask for at the front desk. Like, no, thank you. Anyways,
I just pulled it up. I don't think I'd seen this thing before.
a Dyson Airwrap. Oh my gosh, there's
Ew.
an amazing story.
The
somewhere.
Supersonic?
No, it's the Airwrap.
Oh, okay.
It's the different. You're looking at just a blow dryer. This one does a lot more. There's some story on the internet about a guy who went into Sephora or something and was like, my wife said she wants a dancing Arab. And she was like, I don't know. That's just what she said she wants. And they managed to figure it out and help him.
I got the air
the
wrap
day.
up now. Got it.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
fancy. Okay. I mean, I can't believe I got a new bike and a hairdryer and I still only spent $35,000.
That's impressive.
I just want you all to be impressed. All right. Thank you. Personal care was about $1,100. It's about $191 a month. That's for things like haircuts, getting nails done, eyebrow waxes, facials, all that kind of stuff. These eyebrows require professional care. I go usually monthly and pay about $50 for someone to shape them. We've only given about $1,000 to charity so far this year, which we're behind on like what our giving goals are, but we usually catch up towards the end of the year. Gifts was close to 1,000. I got on a big sending flowers kick this year. Like if something bad happens or something good happens.
I was the wonderful recipient of one of those.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Was that for bad or good?
It was for good.
Like, congratulations.
Congratulations on leaving corporate America.
Yeah.
Not having a job.
Yeah.
It's a very nice surprise. Much appreciated.
Did you re-gift them to Crystal? Did you like take the note off and then be like, Crystal, I got you flowers today?
No, I left the note on there. But they sat in our kitchen table for the week. It was very nice.
Oh, very nice.
That is amazing. That would have been great if you had done that. I would have. Good idea, Maggie. Okay.
She would have known
and-
something was up.
Oh, yeah, right.
Big
She'd have been
time.
like, these are way
Yeah.
too nice.
Yeah. If the flowers aren't coming from Costco, there's something up.
That's funny. All right. So, I mean, high level, I'm like happy that this number was so low. I also didn't feel like we were spending less money. I think I would call out maybe two things. One, it's possible that subconsciously we were trying to limit some spending just because I feel like we're paying for 2 places to live right now and that's feeling very expensive, and maybe just in my mind, I was trying to cut back in other places even without realizing it. But I think the bigger story is just that the costs, our total costs are lower for the first half of the year because nothing weird happened. Like there's no vet bill, there's no car repair bill, there's no home repair bill. Like those are the things that normally send us over. I mean, I think, I can't remember if it would have been last year. I guess the year before, I think we had something like $9,000 or $10,000 of vet bills alone. So I think this is just what happens when nothing weird happens. But it's so rare that you have a 6-month period where nothing weird happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of where we're coming in. Oh, wait, actually, I had one other thing that I was kind of proud of for the first half. Listen, I got to like experience my glory because it's never going to happen again. But I would say the last thing I was proud of for the first half is that our Costco spending is way up. Our Amazon spending is almost $0. And I'm participating in the Target boycott. So also our Target spending is $0 so far this year.
Congrats. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All
Very,
right.
very impressive.
Well done.
It'll never happen again.
As we continue to work our way up, Erica, you are not the highest, but you are next.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're saying our numbers? We're doing it?
Yeah, we're doing it.
So ours is about 105,000, which is quite a contrast from Liz and Andrew. And I had some sticker shock when I looked at it, and that's why I had to go back and double check my math, make sure I carried the one properly. But yeah, it's right. I mean, I was like, did I do like my entire time in Monarch? What is this? But I didn't go into as much detail as y'all did about the categories, because I think I just was kind of like looking through my fingers at it like a horror film.
Because you're cool and you have other hobbies. You mean?
I mean, you know, because this is like, yeah, I'm here against my will. But our housing was high this year. That does not include mortgage, but we did get our bathroom remodeled. And that was something we'd been putting off for a while. And
Was that one bathroom?
one bathroom.
One
So that
bathroom.
was 29,000, but that was bathroom and floors and other landlording activities. Like he is gearing up to build the deck. So there have been like various, I think, which I discussed 2 years ago. This is an ongoing.
It's been like 3 years, right?
It's been 6 years since he's been talking about it. Yeah. Yes. So bathroom was about 23,000. Floors were, I can't even remember what they were, but like close to 5. Like I said, we're getting insulation this year, and then just like other random outdoor stuff. Some tools, things to prepare for the deck. Like we bought some railing. Actually, that was last year. So that was the highest one. But that one I like drilled down into, was like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
For this year. The second highest category for us is travel, which is, so the landlord and I talked about this today. I was telling him like, hey, this is our number I'm putting out there. And like travel is very important to us. Like he and our son went to Japan this year for our son's 5th grade cultural immersion. So that was a lot of money, obviously, like building up with like a monthly payment since last fall. So only part of that cost was there, but it included some of the travel. That was a big one. And then we went to Belize for spring break for 9 days. And we used companion fares for both the tickets. So that really kind of cut down the cost of that. And also when one of the places we stayed was like a mini condo, but that helped with like just buying groceries and not eating out all the time. And then the landlord and I went to Detroit. We just got back from Bend, but a friend let us use their house. Bend is in Oregon. Let us use their house for free. Although we did have to get a hotel for a couple of nights, and it was kind of like, God, this hotel was not worth the money. So this was like the biggest thing to come out of. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but this was the biggest thing that the landlord and I were talking about today was like, we're fine with our spend if what we spent the money on actually was like good and felt valuable. And so it was good for us to talk about because like the hotel, we didn't really know it wasn't going to be like a great experience, and it was just like not worth what we spent, and we didn't really have a way around it. But like while we were on vacation, we were with my cousin and her family, 4 kids, 4 adults, trying to find a place to eat. Like, okay, brew pub, that's easy enough. It was $150 for a family, like for what we ended up eating, with drinks. And then the next day, my cousin and I went to Trader Joe's to buy food for the week, and we spent $400 total for like every meal. And we're like, when you look at that, like we just spent $400 for a week for 8 of us, and we just spent $300 last night. Like that's ridiculous,
Yeah.
So,
Hashtag we have food at home.
Yes.
yeah. But that was the situation of like, okay, we're in this hotel. Where are we going to eat, So those are just like things that we recognize. Like we eat out a lot for convenience, but half the time it's like, that wasn't even good. It wasn't worth it. No one was really that happy.
Yeah, I can definitely relate with that. I kind of had an epiphany over spring break when it comes to hotels versus staying in Airbnbs with the full kitchen. And like, I so value the full kitchen now. And I think I'm done with the hotels because the cost of the food and I just love the flexibility, especially with the diet and what I'm trying to eat and all that. Like just being able to, with the kids, I got picky eaters, right? Like just being able to do more food at home I'm definitely going down the VRBO Airbnb route, I think now.
Yeah, same.
I would just say Maggie and I think would generally agree and always try to do Airbnbs just because they are more economical than 2 hotel rooms often, and we can't fit in one. But the other thing I was going to say too is I agree. When you try to eat out with your kids, or at least I should say when we try to eat out with our kids, we're often eating something that, or forcing them to eat something they don't want to eat that has, an exorbitant price tag and something they're not happy with. So,
or vice versa.
Yeah, or vice versa. So often when we do eat out for whatever reason, we're in a place where we can't, or we just want to eat out, we'll almost do 2. We'll like, take the kids, get them something affordable that they actually like, get them back to the Airbnb, or drag them with us to the restaurant, and they'll just sit there while we eat something else. Because it is, you will spend so much money on a restaurant that no one's happy with at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I love now that everyone's free from their, like, Maggie worked for a hotel chain for how many years, and you're like, yeah, hotels are the worst, Airbnb is the best. Andrew's like, yeah, buying new clothes sucks. Don't do it.
I will say I like hotels when it's just Maggie and I. Hotels can be great in certain circumstances.
What's so funny
family,
is
just
that doesn't exist. Like Crystal and I it's never just Crystal and I in a hotel room.
Oh yeah, it could be someday. Though.
Yeah.
Come drop your kids off at my house,
Yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Hey, Erica, I'm curious when you travel and when you're talking about like eating out and stuff, when you eat while you're traveling, which you clearly are doing, are you putting it under your travel expenses or food?
Food. And that's what the landlord and I need to talk about is like, do we, everything that was in this time period while we were traveling, is that food or is that travel? And like we have to kind of be more deliberate about how we categorize our expenses that way. But yeah, so our food budget or our food expenses were $12,000, about $7,000 in restaurants and bars and $4,700 in groceries, which actually went up because I had an epic Costco trip last week, and I was like too overwhelming. I didn't even send y'all a picture of my cart to say guess how much, because I was like, I don't even want to know the answer.
I love that game.
But it was like I hadn't been in a few months, and we just need meals and like camp food and just shit tons of snacks for the kids. And summer's just a different time period. And so I was like, I don't care. I'm going nuts on buying stuff right now. And like, it's amazing that we had enough freezer space between all our freezers to fit everything. But it did help me because now I'm like, no, we are not eating out. We have so much food, and it's food I'm actually like excited to eat. Like Liz, to your point last year, like everything you had was prepared. Like the landlord would much prefer like we eat more fresh stuff. But it's like, I don't like cooking. We just don't have the time. It's only going to get worse in the school year. So it's like, let's just have things that are ready. And then we all like them. Like, that's the thing is like, I know the kids like some of the things that we're getting. These are repeats, and it's worth the money because when I'm like, God, this feels like an expensive Costco thing. I'm like, what would this be if we ate out? Like this sheet tray of like lasagna, you know?
That's how we were doing like the delivered, factor meals or Cook Unity meals. I was like, this is really expensive groceries, but it's really cheap takeout because it lands about, I think it's like $10 or $11 per person per meal, which again is very expensive for groceries, but like so much cheaper than not even DoorDash, even just like ordering takeout and going and picking it up yourself.
And better because it's fresh when you get it. So that's actually a really good way of like switching your mindset too.
Well, and there's no waste, and like, well, I'm sure there's waste somewhere in that process, but it's like, you buy a bunch of food and it's like, you're like, what am I going to do with, it works for one recipe, but whatever.
Yeah, I love the way you said that, Liz. That was really well said.
I try.
Erica, since we were talking about categorization briefly, one of the questions we frequently get from people is we'll get like specific questions of like, well, when you're using Monarch, where do you categorize food while you're traveling? Or do you separately break out toiletries or whatever it is? And I just think it's worth reminding people, like, it doesn't matter. Whatever you do, ideally just do it consistently so that you've got good like year over year data of, how your family is spending money and how things are trending. But like, we categorize food when we're traveling under travel because we make different kind of decisions when we're traveling. And it's just easier to like lump that whole time period, in. But it doesn't matter. As long as you're doing it consistently, we've got good clean data on what our, non-travel food costs, month over month or year over year. And so it doesn't really matter what someone else does to categorize stuff, as long as you've got a clean system and you just sort of pick something and go with it and perhaps adjust it over time, but don't adjust it like every year.
Yeah. And I'd be curious too, because like our vacation restaurant and bar number would be totally different than just day to day. Like our Detroit restaurant and bar is probably like a quarter of that.
That's why we separate it, because I make like very different decisions when I'm traveling, and I'm put in situations where yes, I could make more frugal decisions, but I'm not in the mood to, and so I sort of like chalk up a lot of things as like, oh, I'm on vacation, so this is free money.
Oh, I put travel feels totally like a free money category. I'm like, oh, I needed a new swimsuit. Oh, I needed new sunglasses. Like it all goes into travel. Oh, I got my nails done, but it was for a vacation. So.
I have a fun challenge for myself. So I'm taking my kids down to visit my dad in Florida in August, and we're staying in a friend of his house because he's got limited space for us now. So we'll be in his neighborhood, but we're going to be in a home. And so I'll be buying like my groceries, not like what my dad has for us, even though we'll mostly be at his house. And there's a pool, so like kind of built-in entertainment. But like I'm really intrigued to try to see how inexpensive I can make this trip. Like,
nice.
Like I'll just try to put everything in this category. I mean, we're going to go to a movie because it's going to be like 1,000,000 degrees. So like we're not going to be doing a lot of outdoor stuff, but like I know at the AMC's on Tuesdays, it's $5 tickets going on Tuesdays. Yep.
My wife has done that plenty of times when it's been raining and on vacation. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep rolling. Do you got a little bit more, Erica?
Yeah. So tied with food is the kids, because they eat a lot of the food, but also just sports, camps, aftercare, tutoring. Like it just adds up. Large expenses. Like Andrew, I'm curious how your kids' swimming is so cheap, and I don't know if it's just because it's one sport.
Yeah, I think swimming in general is one of the less expensive sports, just from a time and equipment standpoint, right? I think we pay $400 a month for 2 kids to swim 4 to 5 days a week. So yeah. But I also, you have the economies of scale because you got 30 kids in the pool and you got 2 coaches, right?
Right.
And so I think that's just how it works out a little bit better. And the swim meets aren't that expensive either. And then the equipment is pretty minimal too. Like,
Yeah,
it's not like it's not like hockey where you're paying for ice time or, you know, a lot of other crazy sports. So
And they're not outgrowing their goggles and caps. Like every 6 months, like my kids
Yeah.
are with soccer cleats and basketball shoes. And
yeah.
yeah, so that was a big one. I think because our kids are in a growth spurt right now. So like each season we're getting new equipment, and we try to get like hand-me-downs from people. We try to hand down stuff, but sometimes like other kids are just in them longer. So now we have to actually buy the things. But yeah, my kids do 6 sports between the two of them. So it's just like different equipment for all of them. And like a new baseball bat is like $200 at the cheap end.
What?
And helmets are like $250, most of which we've gotten hand-me-downs for, but like,
That's wild.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last one that's just very generic is just shopping. We don't break that up, but it's like Amazon, Target, which we don't really shop there anymore. Liz, I'm kind of with you on the boycotts, but just random stuff like clothes, any sort of just general buying of stuff. And so I highlight that word stuff because that was another sticker shock one where I was like, what are all these charges? Like, this is just probably random crap. Okay. So the things I feel good about having invested in the long-term things that will add to the value of our house, like fixing the floors, doing the new bathroom. Hopefully when the deck gets done, that will be another addition. I don't love the amount of money that we spent on just random eating out and random stuff. So those are my action items for myself to really be more mindful with my spending, which is something I say all the time. But I think we just get caught up I just get caught up in what's easy, what feels good in the moment, like the legitimate hedonism of it.
I think that is a very normal feeling and response, Erica. And I think for me, that's why these reviews, even like a monthly review is even better, but even just a 6-month review, it like gives me a time to actually look back at what I did in a somewhat recent period and how I feel about it. And like, that's what's so great about expense tracking. And whether you like the number or not, you might feel like Liz, you felt like your number was, exceptionally low compared to other times in your life. And that might feel good, bad, or indifferent, but either way, like you're in the know, you know what's happening, and you've got a good pulse check on where your money's going, which I do want to have, and I think is important for everybody to have.
Totally agree. And okay, I think that when I look at this too, and again, just like underscores the point that at a certain point, the unexpected, the one-off things are what moves the needle, right? Like a $29,000 bathroom remodel is, that bathroom remodel is like 30% of your spending. If you take that out, you're really, really close to where, like Maggie and I usually land. And that's the thing. It's the vet bills, it's the medical bills, it's the car repair, it's the home repair. Like those are the things.
Yeah, it all adds up.
And Erica,
Yeah.
I definitely give you permission to use my adjusted spending metric here, because the 29,000 is a movement on the balance sheet, right? That goes into the value of your house, and so you should have an adjusted number of minus the 29K, and I think that's much more in line with how to look at it.
That makes me feel better about it, even though when you're talking about like number stuff that, but yes, that's a really good point. And like, that's not an expense I feel bad about. Like, I love our new bathroom and everything we put into it, and we did it deliberately. And like,
well, it's not an expense. It's
an
in
investment in
your
your
investment,
future.
right? I definitely put that in the investment. Just like, I didn't really consider our 40K deck a expense, right? It's much more of an investment in the value of the house, right?
yeah. And so I'll just say that in addition to that, and this isn't like the next highest category, but like we have spent over $4,000 on donations, so like we're finding like you're saying that's an investment, but also like Liz, to your point about like you have certain metrics you want to meet. For us, like that's very important to us. So we are mostly putting our money where we want to be. I guess like what we've talked about in the past, like is our spend aligned with our values? And in some places, most places, yes. Some places, no. And I guess that's where we need to do a little more kind of reflection upon like how we want to move forward with that. So yeah, it's good that we're doing this, and that, you know, for example, like I didn't miss out on one that may have happened last week, just as an example. I don't know.
Erica, does the landlord like that you're tracking this now?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I know he's tracking a lot of things, but like the, you know, day-to-day expenses, it's cool. The other thing, Andrew, if we were following your accounting method and taking out Erica's home improvements, then we've gone in the wrong order here. So
Right.
I'll get back into third place.
Andrew's adjusted earnings, adjusted spending.
Okay, Greg, where are we at?
So we too had a large home expense. So when you include that, our 6-month spending is about $112,000. Very high for us.
I think it's $111,706. We didn't quite hit 112.
This is true. I've decided I'm rounding to
Man, credit cards
make
are on
this
fire
easy to
over there.
digest.
Burning.
45,000 of that was a sunroom that we added to the house, and very excited about it. It's many things to the point you said of we love having it. Not a
It's getting used a lot.
it is,
like a
yeah.
lot by the kids and by us.
and that was
I'm so jealous. I love
inclusive
this.
of
I haven't been invited over to the sunroom.
You're welcome
by
to
the
come
way.
over anytime.
yeah. And that includes furniture. That includes the HVAC for it. So that's fully loaded. So let's take that out now, though. Exclude that. Our spend is just about 66,000. Our largest category was travel, which came in at just over 15,000. So not too bad.
Yeah, our next biggest category was home, which was 14,700, and it doesn't include that big sunroom addition. And stuff that's like big in the home category for us is our homeowners insurance goes into that category, which is a lot, or you know, it's a few thousand and it all hits at once. We put in a new driveway extension that was a few $1,000s. We had a like whole house water filter. That's actually one of the most exciting purchases we've made all year. We spent about $2,000 on that. So it added up though. It was like when Greg, you first said the total was like almost 15,000 for this, I was like, for what? Without the remodel. And I was shocked by like all of these, like, you know, a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there. We like redid some stuff in the kids' bathroom, and yeah, it just adds up.
But once we get our time of use down on the electricity, we're going to see some improvement in home.
Wait, our utilities are in there too?
Yeah,
right?
they
Okay,
are.
yeah. So we have a few thousand in utilities in there too.
Can we come back to travel for a second?
Yeah.
Where you said 16,000 for travel?
15.
15,000 for travel. So what trips did you take that drove
That
that?
included 2 weeks in Iceland because that hit in the first half of the year. So all of our summer vacations.
And approximately how much was the 2 weeks in Iceland?
Iceland was like about $10,000, I think, of that.
Okay.
So it was the bulk of it. And then we had a small spring break trip. We had even just some stuff that we've booked for like other times in the year. There's deposits from, especially with Airbnb, you're normally kind of paying like half up front. And so there's a number of other things in there, some credit card fees, stuff like that.
But the Iceland trip being the majority of
Iceland
it.
It was
was the
the bulk of
majority.
it, yeah.
That seems like a lot of value though.
Yeah, I was gonna say Iceland is not cheap. Like that's the one of the main reasons I don't really have an interest in going is because we like to eat and drink on those vacations, and
Yeah. It wasn't cheap, but it oddly didn't like 2 weeks in Iceland was still a lot less than 3 weeks in Australia. So it was actually not that much more expensive than, it's not an inexpensive place to go. It's expensive, but it's not so exorbitantly expensive that you're like, I'm not going to go eat and drink. It's just, you kind of got to like, when we got home, I was like, everything is so cheap here.
And we
that
did a
actually
lot
sounds
of
nice.
we did a lot of breakfasts, you know, from the grocery store, you know, things at home versus eating out. But we still did eat out quite a few times.
Okay, so going back, our next one, so we had travel's the highest, then home, which were almost identical. Then we had medical, which was about $10,000. Greg got Invisalign, so a big chunk of that was your Invisalign, which was like five or
Over
six
half,
grand.
yeah.
Yeah, I've had some like medical dental stuff where we don't have dental insurance, so I'm paying out of pocket. There's some kids medical, and then our actual some of you guys
Monthly premiums.
Yeah, our monthly premiums are coming out of that
Oh,
versus.
I was going to
our
ask if
paycheck.
that was just medical costs or that's cost.
No,
plus,
that's
like
also
health
insurance. Yeah, health insurance is in there too. Yeah.
It is, I mean, just a sad commentary on our country when I'm like, oh, that's not bad. Like, if it includes
Yeah.
that, I mean, it's just so expensive.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it's going to get worse.
Okay,
But
you do.
our next category was food, which came in at 8,700, and that was a big increase for us. That was an increase of almost $2,500 over the same time period last year. It included $455 in alcohol, which was a big increase over the previous year. We've been doing more socializing and drinking when we're out. When you divide that across the number of months, it's still a pretty reasonable amount, but it seemed like a big increase.
It felt high to me until you started breaking down, and I was like, oh, that's hanging out with some people like twice a month.
Yeah.
I think that seems exceedingly reasonable, but I also, on the internet, go by Liz Gets Loaded.
But we've seen big increases in our groceries and restaurants, and it's an area that we want to focus on a little more consistently. I think we've gotten pretty loose in that category.
Then after that, we have kids stuff, which was about $7,000, and so that includes like 2 kids playing club volleyball. We're keep in mind we're paying for like half of this stuff because our exes are paying for half of it often. So we had like multiple kids with sleepaway camp. You can almost on a lot of, I mean, on all the like camp, never mind. Multiple kids with sleepaway camp, multiple kids playing club volleyball, school sports. And this one's just gone up because like sports are more expensive. You know, one of our kids were starting to pay for like ACT classes for college prep. And so there's just a lot that goes into that category, but that's pretty much where we track everything that's like specifically for the kids, which is mostly sports and camps, but also includes like clothing and stuff like that.
Do kids ever get cheaper? Because it feels like...
Yeah,
No.
once they're off the payroll.
Yeah, but then you got to pay for a wedding. Then you're like helping with the house down payment.
I mean, I think when you get out of preschool and they're in school, there's a dip. You know, when you're not paying for daycare, I guess that's a nice
the
dip.
elementary school
Otherwise, I
years
think
are a dip.
But it's a dip that's like misleading because you think I've had a lot of people request us do an episode on this, on like the cost of kids throughout the life cycle. And like, I think post daycare, you get this like great feeling where you're like, it's like pre-club, sleepaway camp. There's like a middle ground, which is like kindergarten to 3rd or 4th grade, where you're like, oh, kids are like not as expensive. What's everyone talking about kids being expensive? Then they get into like just much more expensive sports and activities and camps and different things. And they're teenagers and they're asking for different things that they weren't asking for when they were a little kid. But I think they're definitely in an expensive phase of life right now.
Next was auto, which came in just under $2,500. That was actually a decrease from the previous year.
That includes 6 months of car insurance.
Yeah,
in there too.
car insurance.
Our car insurance is about $3,000 a year for 2 cars.
I know what my driving total category spending is. My car insurance used to give me a discount for paying ahead of time, but now they don't, so I don't. I'm like, why would I give you the money sooner?
Yeah, ours still, we get like a slight discount, but it's not that big. Keep rolling.
Okay. Next is entertainment. So that includes streaming, any events we go to, anything that we do that's not like family related. If Maggie and I go out, we did increase pretty dramatically here, but there was a couple things in there, like a concert that we're going to that we're excited about. And
So you didn't say the amount, but that was $2,400 on entertainment.
thanks.
And then we had about $2,100 on personal care, which is where we're putting toiletries, a lot of
Supplements.
protein related purchases,
We're
haircut.
all the age where magnesium, creatine.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of our longevity stuff. That
Yeah.
I'm the only one who spends money on longevity
Greg bought some
stuff,
sort of
though.
neuro hacker. He spends a lot of money on longevity medicine. I forgot about that.
Do you shop at Life Extension?
What's that?
Oh, I just thought that's like where I buy my magnesium from. I thought maybe we just got it from the same place.
Never heard of it.
It's called Neuromag. It's supposed to make me smart and sleep good and live long.
Sounds nice.
It's one of those things you open up the tub and you're like, you better fix my whole life.
I've expected high things once I started taking magnesium, and I have not really noticed anything.
Oh, I love it. I think it does make me sleep better. My Aura Ring says it helps me sleep better. Wait, Erica, was your Aura Ring part of your first half spending?
Yes, and it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
That was
that's
one
not
that I
just,
was
like,
glad that
stuff.
you talked me into.
Can I see it on your finger, Erica? There we go. Okay, and then after that, we've got like charity and gifts, clothing and shoes, life insurance, electronics and software, miscellaneous. I mean, no, I say I could do the quick math, but I want to say, 62 of our 65 are in those 8 categories we just covered. So that is the bulk of it. And yeah, it's higher than I would like it to be. But at the same time, there's not like huge things that I could point to regretting, other than I'm just getting like a little loose on some like less intentional spending. But I feel good about most of this. And most importantly, it is in line with where we can afford to be spending based on our early retirement plan. So we're fine from that perspective, but it just feels a lot higher than it used to be. And so as I see things going up, I sometimes am like, oh, I don't necessarily feel, 20% happier than I felt last year, but I'm spending 20% more money. So like, how does that line up?
Yeah, I would say that one thing we've not been good about doing this past 6 months is reviewing our expenses regularly. And so we kind of felt like our expenses were going to be higher, which they were. But I think one thing kind of stepping away from this is really committing to looking at our expenses monthly. As Maggie said, there's many things that we wouldn't change, but I do think we can tighten up a little more on some of our expenses in the food category and just some of the kind of shopping stuff we're doing. I think we can tighten that up a little. And I think if we look at it more regularly, we are more likely to do that.
I'm curious, though, if you looked at it even just from the last 6 months and kind of line item, like, oh, we could have skipped this, we could have skipped this. I mean, I'm just curious if it would have added up to like, oh, it would really only be $500 or $1,000, or if you'd be like, oh, no, we found like $5,000 that we could have happily skipped.
Probably 500 to 1,000.
Yeah.
I think.
I think what's more interesting is I could point different than what you're asking, Liz, because what you're asking, I feel pretty good about. Like, there's not a lot of things I'd point to and be like, ooh, that was a bad decision. My things that I could do better on would be in the 500 to 1,000 range. What's more interesting to me is there's a bunch of things in here that are, I don't say one time, but unusual expenses, right? But there's always something unusual, right? So whether it's braces this time, and then we're like, I think there's been a point where we're like, well, we're done with braces now, and then another one pops up, so.
And then you discovered 40-something-year-olds get braces.
And we discovered like more teeth in our mouth. And so I do think there's things where like when I look at I'll tell you this, when I look at this for second half of the year, there were like $15,000 worth of things where I was like, this could be much less second half of the year, but we'll see.
I can't wait to find out.
Also, every 6 months, in case anyone listens enough to pick up on this, every 6 months, Greg and I say we're going to start looking at this monthly. But then we continue to look at it every 6 months.
I'm determined that that is going to be different when we do our 1 year review.
Okay, I'm excited.
Our full year annual review.
So in 15 days, we need to look at July, babe.
Yep.
Oh, and Liz, when you do your monthly money dates,
I'm going to keep you. Yeah,
and
I
be
will.
And be like,
hey,
we
do it. We're pretty.
I'd
like
like
to think
to do
of
a
like
code
1
video.
month we missed, and then we'll catch it up the next time. Like we'll go to do it and say, oh, we didn't do it last month. We got to do 2 now. And
Can
that
we
happens
do a money
maybe once
date
a year.
episode? Would your partner come on for that?
Maybe
Okay.
I'll ask.
I know the
maybe.
landlord wouldn't.
No, the landlord's going to come on and do a bromance session
Is
with
he?
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is already like I'm already like
Erica's
you
hit her
guys are
limit.
going to be too connected.
I think I would love to hear an episode. I mean, I think Maggie you and Greg should record one of your money dates.
Okay, we're going to have one to
Post it as an
record it,
episode.
but
Yeah.
maybe that's a good commitment.
And we'll get Andrew. I'll get you and the landlord. You guys will get on.
Andrew, I've got his phone number. I'll send it to you.
Cool.
I think we should add him to the group text thread, perhaps.
He's not good
feel
at
like-
texting.
I feel like the spouses are going to opt out when we try to add them to
Oh, Crystal's 100% out.
Let's let her get in, and then she can decide if she wants out. Okay?
she
want her to know
knows she knows she wants out.
I want her to know she's invited, though. So.
That would actually be pretty funny. Like if I just added her to the group and I would just be get this like, Andrew, what is going on?
I'm gonna add her to the group and say, Andrew said you requested to be added to this group.
And all you're gonna get is an exit. That's it.
I'm gonna get that thing that says someone silenced the group.
Crystal has left the chat.
Yeah, that's
And then keeps getting added back. Crystal left
Yeah.
again.
okay. On that note, does anybody want to say anything before we wrap it up? Any closing thoughts about the first 6 months of 2025?
No, it's making me just think of I'm glad we did this review because now I want to think about what the next 6 months will be and more deliberate with them.
So, Erica, you're saying you enjoy these discussions, right?
I mean, let's not go that far. Let's not go
Erica?
that far. I would like to propose. What am I like?
Wait, Erica's like, okay, remember in Mean Girls when Lindsay Lohan had to join the Mathletes as like a punishment and she was like, ew, but then she was like, actually, I like it.
This does
I was
feel
thinking
like that. Yes.
maybe Erica's feeling more like it's going to the dentist. Like she knows it's something that's good for her and she should do, but no one goes like, that was actually an enjoyable dentist visit.
I was going to say like the gynecologist.
No, Greg's more onto it because we just came from the kids' dentist today, which was just it went fine. It was just a lot of waiting and it was just an abysmal appointment. And we came home and everyone was in a sour mood because of it. So it was like, yeah, Greg's got it. It's like going to the kids' dentist.
Yeah, I like it. Since we're now to the point where we are comparing this to a dentist visit, it might be time for us to wrap up.
It's time to call it.
Time to call it. I think we've done it. We have reviewed our expenses. Well done, everyone.
If by chance you are listening to this episode in the dentist chair, like sometimes they let you put your own headphones in, please tell us. 'Cause
We'll send you a sticker. I want a photo, and I will send you a free sticker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, go on.
On that note, I feel like we're not going to get anyone that sends us something, but whatever. We appreciate you guys listening. We know your time is so limited and valuable that you might be listening to us at the dentist right now. If you have enjoyed this episode, and maybe you're on laughing gas also, you can leave us a
really
written
enjoyed it.
review. Yeah, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Like a written one is what we really love. We're at like 258 reviews. New goal, I'm making it right now to get to 300 reviews. We can do this
Just ever?
by the end of the
Bye.
year.
Okay.
That's easy, right? That's like 40 reviews. 30, actually. 32? No, I can't do math. 42?
42. Correct. Math is hard.
I carried the one in the wrong spot.
It'll get you every time.
And this is the part where it just gets silly. And if you're still listening, we really love you.
We also encourage you to share this episode with a friend or family member to encourage ongoing discussions about money.
You can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And if you have thoughts or questions, or if you want to like drunk or laughing gas text us, we would love to hear from you. Send us a voicemail or text us at 404-981-3370 or find us on Instagram at Inside Out Money.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
All right.
It was great spending
Yeah.
time with y'all.
Good.
We did it. Yeah. We'll do this again at the end of 2025, and I can't wait to see what order we're in then, you know? Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye, everyone.
friends. Bye.
Bye.